All right, let's try this again. Hold on, let me take these headphones out. So we can record it. Once. Ah, dropped it. Okay. All right. All right. All right. That's my stone close to the altar first. All right. So, Yahweh, Yahweh Shah, Hawaii, Yahweh, Gosh, let's go, baby. Governor honors to the others, Apostle Baby Osborne, peace citation, elect the house of David, Shalom to the hopeful like lady and children. You know, that's just walking the plantation. You know, and I walk about 5, 6 miles a day. You know, and I always have to look over my shoulder every few steps. You know what I'm saying? What does always tell us what? What does scripture say? Tell us what? Be circumspect, right? As wise, not as fools. Redeeming the time what? Because the days are evil. You already know what happened. They got rid of that dude, and you know, there's an uproar of the people. You know, you got Esau talking about he's the victim now, and I think and you know, and that is it's funny because one of the brothers was speaking about that earlier, and he was talking about that's some high level sorcery, and it is for the oppressor to turn around and say that they're the victim. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I remember growing up back in the day when these Edomites used to always call us the most emotional, right? Because we be standing up to fight for ourselves and shit. But they'd be like, oh, you people are just so emotional. You're so emotional, right? And that was just such pride. Well, look at this, man. First of all, y'all about Shimi Al-Shah hates God, right? But he definitely gave it to a people that he don't like either. Esau have a hated, particular have I love, you know, referring to the book of Romans, Romans 9 or Romans, but but you know, Scripture said that pride is not for man. Like pride's not for the Israelites. Pride's not for us. You know what I'm saying? Scripture said He gives grace to the humble. We need to be humble. There is nothing to be proud of. Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Seminole English. What the hell is there to be proud of? What the hell is there to be proud of? If anything, we need to be grateful for what we do have. We met a guy a couple of weeks ago. Dude was a developer for the video game Red Dead Redemption and Call of Duty and all that. They booted his ass out of there, and this son bitch was driving Uber. You know what I'm saying? There's like millions and millions of jobs, millions and millions of homeless people. Mad people right now. I mean, yeah, so homeless, unemployed, the whole nine. If you believe that you're a part of the house of David, the house of the elect, humility is what we need to be clothing ourselves in. If you ain't humble, you better do it yourself because the Lord will do it. And it ain't gonna be a pleasant sight. Humility is something that we need to possess. We need to ask you how about shooting our child. Teach his fear on us. Same time, teach us his fear. Because if we don't understand, Scripture said that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, right? So we want to be wise, right? right? Walk with circumspectly as wise, but as wise, not as fools. 2/3 of fools, the crowd of fools, they out here walking around dancing, eating chicken, doing that stupid ass dance with the foot and the kick of their arm and all that. Boom. They're not out here reverencing the how about shot. And the funny thing about that is that the Wackataggee Christians think that reverence is just, you tipping your hat or raising your glass to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? It's more than that. For us men, we need to be out here walking, you know what I'm saying, doing what we're supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? What is the whole duty of man? To fear the Lord and to keep his commandments. And if we out here teaching and all that, we're supposed to be doing what? Feed the sheep. You gotta feed the sheep, man. We love it. Yahweh asked, Yahweh Shai asked Simon Peter, oh, if you love me, man, he told him, he said, if you love me, man, feed my sheep, Jack. Feed them. We need to be fed. Some of us are still on milk. Some of us still, some of us are still, some of us are eating steaks and venison and all that. But, let's keep it a buck, man. A lot, that milk, a lot of that milk, that's roots. You know what I'm saying? That milk is where it started. That milk is where it all began. And I see the elders and apostles talking about back to basics. You know what I'm saying? A lot of brothers do a back to basics lessons. You know? Because Isaiah 33:6 says what? Isaiah 33:6 says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation, the fear of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is his treasure. Wisdom, treasure, salvation, fear of the Lord. Telling you, man, these things are heating up out here, man. You have the oppressor talking about they're the victim. They're acting like, man, listen, people are getting so riled up. These people want to have a reason. They already have their reasons to put their hands on an average faith or an average Aquas, an average, you know what I'm saying, Eve. And they'll do everything in their power to justify it. They don't really need it doesn't have to be anything, because in their mind, they ain't like this anyway. Well, the Howard said, he said, how can you make a crooked way straight? You can't. The wicked comes out of the womb speaking lies. He is the accuser of the brethren. He is all that above. He's the serpent that's spoken of in the scriptures. He is. There's some damn snake, some king cobra gonna be like, yeah, bitch, it's okay for you to eat that apple. Stop. Slap them. Lord. Oh, man. Sometimes you slap them in the face, man. Woo! Nice and warm out. Hit the danger room earlier. Now I'm on my 3 mile. Let's go. What we do, we need to be circumspect. We need to be focusing on what comes out our mouths, right? Focusing what manner are we to be in all conversation and godliness, right? So our conversation is what? How we speak, how we conduct ourselves, everything. You can't let that nigga when you come back and you start making the ministry full of blame. Oh yeah, see? Oh, it's black, they always want to call us black. Oh, we ain't black. Is that black? That is a beautiful shade of chocolate and brown. You know what I'm saying? But hey, we're black because they think that we are the absence of light. There isn't another nation of people so more spiritual than us, than the so-called black people. They know. You know what I'm saying? Even the ones that are going off, they trying to be spiritual, but it's still there. You know what I'm saying? Israel hath not obtained what it seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest will find. Rest didn't know what was up, what was down. They don't know. They just blinded. And the last thing we want to do is blinded. The last thing we want to do is left out here in this raggedy piece of garbage place and be left out here with the how about from the outside. Ain't no way, Dad. Ain't no way. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and redeemer. We got to make sure that we're on point. That's what the homeless from Cleveland always say to me all the time. Stay on point. Dude, we got to stay on point. We just can't, we have to, it's funny. I watched one of the brothers' lessons last night. It might have been this morning. It's just talking about how we need to be focused more on the spiritual things, right? Now, we don't know where we're going to be when all hell breaks loose. But the one thing we do know is that Yahweh Bashim outside is with us. Further Joshua 9:1, or 1:9, Joshua 1:9, I believe. You know what I'm saying? How he's with us. And also how nothing can keep us from the love of Yahweh Bashim outside. Famine, death, destruction, and pestilence, not any of that stuff can keep us from the love of Yahweh Bashim outside. And especially if we out here doing the work, he got us. He got our back. We need to stay focused on what's spiritual, man. Because what's spiritual will last. Everything in this place is gonna pass away. If this place is getting ready to pass away, it's the same thing with your drawers, man. We had your favorite drawers, man. You're wearing them drawers for 5 years, but guess what? The part in between your ass and between your legs is starting to it's deteriorating. What happened? Yeah, go get another pair of drawers. But they don't make them drawers that you got that you like so much. You gotta go get a new pair that's closest to them, right? But if we're girded with the truth don't never go away. The truth don't rot. The truth don't change. The truth empowers. The truth lifts us up. The truth shows us who we really are. The truth tells us to examine ourselves every day to make sure that we are still in the faith. The truth tells us that that the Lord is with us always. The truth tells us to walk these circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, for human at times, because the days are evil. The truth tells us that as long as we keep our minds stayed on the Lord, he will keep us in perfect peace. Why? Because he trusts in you. Right? That's what the truth tells us. These people out here that don't have these truths, we got to make sure that we are very aware of what we say based off that conversation that we have. And if we don't have the proper conversation, you better get it. Because these people aren't our friends, man. Just like I seen in the Matrix, man, when Neo and Morpheus are walking down the street, and Morpheus just walking past people, and Neo just bumping into them. Oh. He was just like, man, listen, if they ain't unplugged, they the enemy. That's just what it is. If they're not unplugged, they are the enemy. How can two men walk together except they agree? What they say, if two are touching and agreeing, then he is in the midst. You have to agree. If you don't agree on something, you just don't agree on it. But when it comes to this word, which is the most vital thing in our lives, to our existence, to our future, it has to not be compromised. It has to not be treated as if it's a second thing. It always has to be the main thing. Shalom.